Today on the Morning Edition, Anchorage school leaders are putting millions of dollars back into classrooms. The board says the new funding is already helping fill some key positions.
Could Budapest, Hungary be the backdrop for the first direct talks between Ukraine's president and Vladimir Putin? What we're learning this morning about the high-stakes diplomatic push for peace. And later.
My best friend doesn't have time to waste.
She puts the cutie in social justice.
Well, forget swiping right. A new matchmaking event in New York is flipping the script. Instead of selling themselves, well, their friends are singing their praises to strangers. As the Morning Edition starts now. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up and joining us here on a Wednesday. A little bit different look for us this morning.
Yeah.
Technology, so just bear with us. Still the same news, same people.
I love the swipe for your friends, though, because some of my friends just make bad decisions.
Oh, boy, yeah. What's the new way of matchmaking, nonetheless. So let's get a check of weather on this Wednesday morning. Good morning, Aaron.
Yeah, good morning on this Wednesday. We are continuing to see some of those light rain showers occurring across parts of South Central, more so out towards Prince William Sound, but we are beginning to see some drier conditions taking hold. We're waking up to a temperature of 54 degrees in Anchorage to start off your Wednesday morning, and we're going to see those temperatures rebounding back into the mid to upper 60s later this afternoon. Notice some of that light rain pushing through Prince William Sound as well as southern parts of the Copper River Basin. Elsewhere across South Central, we're already on the drier side. We did officially pick up over 1/10 of an inch of rainfall in Anchorage yesterday. And with that being said, August as a whole is certainly still sitting on the dry side as we're just over 6/10 below where we should be for the month of August. We're sitting at 8.30 inches of liquid precip this year. Looking at the past couple of years, 2022, 2023, and 2024, we saw well over 12 inches of accumulation through this time period, same time period. So this has been one of the nicest stretches of weather that we've seen in more than 3 years. As far as what we're going to see for that day planner today, you can see temperatures warming back into the mid-60s. We'll hold on to some cloud coverage for a good portion of the morning and early afternoon before those clouds do begin to decrease, and we'll see some sunshine later today. We'll also be watching some winds increasing again later tonight. Those winds anywhere from about 20 to 30 miles per hour to be expected, so be prepared for that. As far as those temperatures today, we're going to be warmer than yesterday. Many areas managing to climb into the mid to upper 60s. We will see a few cooler locations through Prince William Sound, which will hold on to some of those rain showers. I'll have more on that seven-day forecast for you coming up.
Less than a week into the new school year, the Anchorage School Board is busy with budgeting, pouring millions into classrooms, adding new teaching positions and programs after starting the year with dozens of vacancies.
This after the veto override at the state legislature's special session directed roughly $10 million towards the district. Joe Allgood breaks down the numbers.
The Anchorage School Board just added over $6 million to their budget for the next year, creating 27 new teacher positions after starting the school year with over 120 vacancies. After the $10 million funding boost on August 5th, the school board quickly allocated about $3.6 million for activities, tutoring, and after-school programs, as well as 20 full-time classroom positions. As of Tuesday's meeting, the district announced that all 20 of those positions were filled. That left a little under $6.3 million to be allocated. About $3.6 million will go towards hiring 27 new classroom teachers. $160,000 will be used for an English language learner summer school and $540,000 for high-dose tutoring. The remaining $2 million is allocated towards teacher retention and recruitment, which includes a committee of educators asking the $2 million question of how to get teachers to Anchorage and keep them here.
I'm wondering what can we do to, one, attract the best teachers, whether they're in the district in a different school that we recruit into that building, or they're external that we want to recruit, let's say with, one idea the committee could come up with is referral bonuses or some sort of incentive to get out-of-state teachers to come to Alaska.
The simple truth is, only with better compensation will you be able to fill all your positions. Only with better compensation will you slow down the enormous number of resignations year after year. Do not fail to act. You have the resources.
Of course, teachers, students, and parents alike are hoping that more funds go towards classroom instruction. That's what the union spokesperson said during the meeting on Tuesday evening. Also adding that contract negotiations for the union will be taken up on Wednesday. Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source.
In Fairbanks, teachers are starting a new year filled with new challenges and new beginnings, but it didn't stop the excitement on the first day of school.
From some of the littlest learners to seniors in their last year, it was high fives and smiles on the first day. Adrian Peterson reports.
From kindergarten to 9th grade, students in Fairbanks flocked back to classrooms ready to take on the new year and new experiences along with school staff.
I think it's all of the emotions. They're jittery, they're nervous, they're excited. So really, as a parent, just trying to channel that in a way that says, like, this is exciting, we're gonna be in a new place, and preparing them for success.
Morgan Dulian says a key part of that is connecting with teachers, some of whom are also starting new journeys.
There was a lot of anticipation for me this year. I'm coming off of teaching 2nd grade for 13 years, so this is kinder for the first time. So getting ready for that grade level was huge for me this year.
Buren says she's starting the year by making sure she really knows her students.
It's their first year ever, so they have to be really comfortable with us.
It's a big transition for the kids entering middle school, too.
The first couple days of school, there's really not much instruction happening as far as content is. It's mostly like how to navigate school and how to open your locker, how to find your classes, and all of that kind of stuff. We really walk kids through that.
And at the district level, the focus is on improving literacy for kids in primary school and preparing kids for careers at the secondary level.
At the secondary level, continuing to expand our CTE pathways. That's a huge part of the high school experience for our students here in the interior, and standing those up at all of our schools.
As these students start their school year, they'll be joined by 10th, 11th, and 12th graders on Wednesday. The last day of school for students in Fairbanks is planned for May 21st. Adrian Peterson, Alaska's news source.
As the new school year begins, the Fairbanks School District is reassuring parents that student information, including immigration status, will remain private.
In an email, the district said student data is only released to government agencies in emergencies or with a court order. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is not considered an emergency.
The district says its schools provide a safe and welcoming education for all students, regardless of race, citizenship, or immigration status. A school board member says that policy follows federal law.
We don't expect parents to read all of our administrative regulations, right? So making sure that they're aware and that our school community at large is aware of what those administrative regulations are is really important for them to know that they have, regardless of what's going on outside of our schools, that they have access to their education.
Alaska's news source reached out to Immigration and Customs Enforcement for comment on the email from the district. We asked if the agency ever seeks student information, but have not heard back.
And on the Kenai Peninsula, today is the first day of school for kids there.
Yeah, earlier this month, we talked with Superintendent Clayton Holland and his message to students as they start the school year.
You know, when you are there, you're learning, you're engaged. Our focus is on engaging instruction when kids are there. And just bring that attitude, that positive attitude, and that belief that you will be successful, and we will meet you where you are and bring you forward and be part of a great system.
To hear the full conversation, you can go to our free streaming platforms or our in-depth Alaska podcast.
In Juneau, just 5 lawmakers, including the House Speaker and Senate President, gaveled in for less than 2 minutes to open the special session. It was the first time the legislature met since overriding the governor's education veto. But after those 2 minutes, they adjourned until August 31st. Lawmakers did not take up any of Governor Dunleavy's education reform bills or his Agriculture Department executive order due to what they say are constitutional concerns.
Alaska voters could soon decide whether to decriminalize certain psychedelics. A petition filed in June has been certified by Lieutenant Governor Nancy Dahlstrom. It seeks to regulate medicinal mushrooms and other psychedelics for therapy and traditional use by adults 21 and older.
The group behind it, Natural Medicine Alaska, now needs about 34,000 signatures over the next year to qualify for the ballot. Natural Medicine Alaska was unable to do an on-camera interview Tuesday, but told us in a statement, quote, "These natural medicines offer hope for Alaskans struggling with PTSD, depression, and addiction, especially among our veterans, first responders and indigenous communities. Mental health experts telling us the psychedelics can help patients by reducing symptoms of depression, anxiety, and PTSD, but people should exercise caution.
But it is like a very sharp knife. It can harm and it can heal. Yeah, that's the reason to decriminalize it, is in order for professional people to get involved and provide guidance. And, just right now the underground in Anchorage, I think, is pretty big, and people are using it without any guidance.
Opponents have called similar initiatives a slippery slope, with others saying that there are other areas people should be focusing on.
Senator Dan Sullivan is hosting top U.S. military leaders this week as Arctic Edge and Northern Edge run simultaneously to showcase America's readiness in the Arctic.
A lot going on here in Alaska, and I'm so honored to have Admiral Paparo here.
U.S. Admiral Samuel Paparo and U.S. Admiral Christopher Grady, current vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, are just among the many that are visiting the state. Paparo says the dual exercises reflect growing incursions from Russia and China.
It's important to train together against all domains, all services, all jointly from key strategic ground, and to demonstrate that strength to our would-be adversaries. And so those are all the reasons why we combined Arctic Edge and Northern Edge, and it's the biggest, it's the strongest ever, and we'll have the responsibility to keep improving it and making it better.
We plan on bringing you a more in-depth look at both the exercises and our interviews with the Senator and Admiral later today.
State leaders say Alaska's international airports are seeing growth in both passengers and cargo. Fairbanks reported more travelers in the first half of the year, while cargo movement rose 3%. New routes include WestJet to Calgary, Alaska Airlines to Sacramento and Portland, Delta to Los Angeles and Atlanta, and United with daily summer flights from Fairbanks to Denver.
Coming up, the Midnight Sun has helped fruits and veggies grow, and in Fairbanks, a community garden has enjoyed plenty of sun.
But with summer winding down, not everything is ready to be picked just yet. Why some veggies need a little more nourishing. Arctic Gardens is next.
Rain coming to an end across South Central, but we've got stormy weather across western Alaska through the week. I'll have more on that. And first, sunrise, 6:22 in Anchorage, 5:31 in Juneau. Your full forecast is next.
Tracking Hurricane Erin this morning, but from the ISS, this is video from NASA showing the Category 2 storm traveling east of the North American coast on Tuesday.
Yeah, communities along the East Coast are preparing for harsh waves, high water, and potentially deadly rip currents. Erin isn't expected to make landfall in the U.S., but it is already prompting evacuations during some of North Carolina's busiest travel days. But that's always really, really neat to see the hurricane from the ISS.
Yeah, that
very ominous.
How massive it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are seeing winds this morning. They're still gusting upwards of about 100 miles per hour with Hurricane Erin. Thankfully, it's not expected to heavily impact the eastern coast outside of some of those rip currents as well as some stormier seas. Meanwhile, what we're dealing with across the state, drying out for South Central. We've got some stormier weather that's building into western Alaska. That's also bringing some high surf advisories for parts of the southern Seward Peninsula coast as well as parts of Norton Sound. You can see the extent of that high surf advisory that does include parts of the Yukon Delta. That goes into effect at 4 a.m. tonight through 10 a.m. Thursday. This is where we're going to see that potential for water levels of 3 to 5 feet above the normal high tide line. So some coastal erosion will be possible with this incoming storm system that we are watching. Now, as we look in the upper levels of the atmosphere, we got ridging that's arriving over the Aleutians. What this means is that area of low pressure is going to ride right along that ridge and into western parts of the state, really for areas north of the Seward Peninsula where we're going to see some of those stormiest conditions. So again, that ridge is going to build in, continuing to build in through the Aleutians. That's where we're going to see that transition for that path of that storm that we're going to be watching as we welcome in the coming days. Now, the biggest concern is going to be those high surf advisories, but we'll also be seeing some gusty winds with this, as well as some heavy rainfall that's going to spread spread across western parts of the state. So there's that system we're watching. You can see currently in Russia, but it is riding over that ridge, spreading into western parts of the state. Again, be prepared for some gusty winds, heavy rainfall that's going to push through parts of the western Brooks Range, even impacting areas of the slope out towards Utqiagvik. We can expect to see some heavier rain to be expected as we welcome in the overnight hours on into our Thursday. So that's what we're going to be watching as we kind of wind down this week with stormier conditions. In fact, the state as a whole still holding on to that bullseye for wetter weather as you head really north of the Arctic Circle and then out towards northwestern parts of the state. This is where we're going to favor some of that better chance of seeing some rainy conditions as we close out the month of August. Meanwhile, across the southern coastline as well as out towards southeast, we're going to see some drier conditions, more so for the Panhandle. Well, we don't have any significant rain in the forecast for the time being. Meanwhile, here across the south central, we're still holding on to some stray showers throughout the day. Most of that activity will be out towards Prince William Sound, but we will see temperatures rebounding quite nicely this afternoon into the mid to upper 60s. And be prepared, those winds will increase into the night where we could see some gusts anywhere from about 20 to 30 miles per hour. We could see some isolated showers continuing into Thursday. Not everyone seeing that activity, but as we wind down this week and welcome in the weekend, you can see the return of some sunshine in the forecast as well as those drier conditions. Likely seeing highs in the mid to upper 60s as we welcome in the weekend. Decent shot of seeing some sunshine. Overnight lows remaining in the lower 50s. As we close out August, we'll likely continue to see highs across South Central, staying in the mid to upper 60s.
This summer, a nice mix of weather has proved fruitful for gardens across the state, but even though summer is winding down, some crops need to wait a bit longer before being plucked from their stems. Alex Bengal visited a community garden in Fairbanks to show how in this week's Arctic Gardens.
Earlier in the summer, the Fairbanks community came together to plant a variety of foods at the Stone Soup Garden, run by a local nonprofit in charge of the soup kitchen. Months later, members of the same community are reaping the rewards.
So usually the stuff from this garden gets harvested by people who are just hungry and walking by. And then whatever needs to be harvested that hasn't been harvested, I'll call around to the senior center, Meals on Wheels, or some of the assisted living places.
Kale, nasturtiums, cabbage, beans, kohlrabi, squash, all growing in abundance for anyone to take home.
I try to plant a lot of stuff that people can just eat right out of the garden without having to cook or do much with.
Some potatoes, however, taken out too early by passers-by, withering in their bed.
I don't think people are doing it maliciously, but I think there's like a lack of understanding or knowledge with how to interact with the garden sometimes.
Garden manager Peter Miller advising that growers wait until the top of the plant looks like it's dying before harvesting, generally after the first frost. But so far, the summer weather is cooperating with the garden.
We've had a nice mixture of sun and rain, and yeah, the community has really stepped up and helped us out.
The garden's workload slowing down until harvest time in the fall, a food resource for those who need it. Alex Bengal, Alaska's news source.
And for more tips on gardening in Alaska, visit our website and click on Arctic Gardens to view all of our past stories.
You've been listening to the Alaska's News Source podcast. Subscribe to have the latest episodes delivered to your library automatically.